welcome to my vacation vlog. Officially, this is like the third day of vacation because it's Monday, and I already read one book. I am going to spend the next 2 weeks of vacation. I am at the Adriatic Sea coast, and it's wonderful. And if the video is crooked, it's because you are placed. I mean, the camera is placed on a mattress, so if you tip over, it's because I'm moving so much. So yeah, day 3 of vacation. I read one book. I'm in the middle of 2. So the first book I read, actually listened to it on audio, is called Winter's Orbit by, I always forget the names. So Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. So I will just tell you what this book is about. So this is a book about the Iskat Empire that has long dominated the system through treaties and political alliances. Several planets, including Thea, have begun to chafe under Iskat's rule. When tragedy befalls Imperial Prince Tam, his Thean widower, Jinan, is rushed into an arranged marriage with Tam's cousin, the disreputable Kian, in a bid to keep the rising hostilities between the two worlds under control. But when it comes to light that Prince Tam's death may not have been an accident, and that Jian himself may be a suspect, the unlikely pair must overcome their misgivings and learn to trust one another as they navigate the perils of the Iskat court, try to solve a murder, and prevent an interplanetary war, all while dealing with their growing feelings for each other. Basically, I've heard about this book on various channels, and the words that they're sort of used to describe this book is, what's the book? Red, White, and Royal Blue, but in space. But basically, it's like Prince Harry, like the disreputable prince is like a version of Prince Harry, and the other guy, I don't know who the fuck he was supposed to be. But anyway, basically, I didn't know what to expect, but what I got was so much angst, which I was such in a mood for. I don't know, I enjoyed it a lot. There was adventure, there was political intrigue, and I enjoyed this one so much. There are some trigger warnings for domestic abuse, so this is something that bothers you, you shouldn't read this. But other than that, it was so good. It was set in actual space. The two of them, the development of their relationship was fun to read about, because when they get, it's an arranged marriage story, but there's also like they had to like share a bed, actually a sleeping bag, because they got stuck on a mountain, huddle for warmth and stuff. There's very interesting political intrigue. Like the side plot from the romance was very fun, and the romance it's not central, but it's a very big important part of the book. Yeah, I've enjoyed it a lot. It's so cool, and I definitely recommend it to anyone who wants to read it. I also have a book that I'm reading while I'm on the beach, and that is Sandman Slim by Richard Kadri. Basically, we follow Jimmy Stark, who basically, in the first 10 pages, you find out that he basically found a way to escape hell, where his friends sent him when he was 19 years old. And he's a magician. I mean, but he has magic, but they call themselves magicians, not wizards. I don't know why. Anyway, so he has some magic, and he's come back to Earth to kill everybody that sent him to hell, because his girlfriend died or was murdered. We are figuring this out as we go along. So far, I'm like 50 pages in. It's okay. Urban fantasy, so it's just setting up and things are starting to happen. And I'm also reading something on my Kindle. This is Lola and the Millionaires by Catherine Moon. This is the sequel, companion novel to Baby and the Late Night Howlers, and so far Lola is so much better than Baby. And even though Lola has some, her characterization in the Baby book was kind of like, she doesn't come off as a great character, but here in this one we sort of get to explore the consequences of her action in the first book. So basically, in the first book, she kind of, this is all set in the Omegaverse, which I learned has nothing to, the Omegaverse books, romances, aren't specifically about werewolves. Basically, the sort of pack dynamic of Omega Beta, Alpha is being put in human situations. Basically, humans have those characteristics. And basically, Lola spent most of her time, she's a beta, chasing alphas because she wants to feel important and loved and whatever. And then she, as she said, she caught one and she learned her lesson. And because she was mistreated badly, and now she has some trauma that she's dealing with, and she is starting a new job and somehow starting a new relationship with a pack. Basically, it's a reverse harem book, so the pack will be involved in some shape or form. But yeah, that's it so far for my reading update. But yeah, enjoying vacation. Talk to you soon. Also watching some of the Olympics, not all of them, because I don't really care, but you know, I'm checking when the Croatian athletes are on. And I just saw a dude win a bronze medal in the taekwondo thingy, so good for him.
Хватило som песика.
Hi, you're again in a very precarious positions, but if the thingy tips over, it's gonna be best. Anyway, hi, it's day 5 of the vacation vlog, and I just finished Lola and the Millionaires Part 2, which means I finished Lola and the Millionaires Part 1, both of them by Catherine Moon. And I have to say, I enjoyed those much more than Baby and the Late Night and her Late Night Howlers, or the Late Night Howlers. As I mentioned before, we follow Lola as she is sort of settling in her life after a very traumatic event, and just book 1, the part 1 of this duology is just so good, because there's lots of it's her dealing with her trauma, and the pack that she's that she sort of fell in with is taking care of her, and there's lots of discussions about what she wants, what she needs, lots of discussions about her trauma, and lots of communicating, which is usually something that is missing in most like romances. So that was a very, very interesting and a good part of this book. I have to say, there was a rise of quality from this one and the previous one, so that's just, I was dubious, but I'm just now sold on Catherine Moon. I'm just going to go check out her other stuff that she's written, and I'm just looking forward to discovering more of her work as an author, because the Lola thing was so good, much better than the Baby thing. Yeah, so I finished that, and I got to like 160 pages of Sandman Slim. This is the book I read while I'm on the beach. The thing is, whenever I read urban fantasy, I usually compare it to Jim Butcher's Dresden Files, and you really can't, because it's wrong. This one is, we follow a character who just got out of hell and is back on Earth because his girlfriend, I guess, was killed, and he's back on Earth to avenge her. Now the thing is that he's not, it's meandering, like he's not he's not really equipped to deal with stuff on Earth after spending 11 years in hell. He doesn't know about cell phones, he doesn't know, I mean, he knows about the internet, but he doesn't know about like just like day-to-day things that you need to survive. And he's basically floundering around doing stuff, and he's meandering. He's trying to get to the main bad guy, Mason, but in that time he basically takes over a video store. He meets up with an old friend, and now he's about to go and rob something, and it's just, it feels meandering, and it's more, I think, more about the character than the plot. Our main character sort of being lost and dealing with all the shit that's happened to him while he was in hell, and him just trying to, I guess, live. But yeah, I was kind of hoping that he'd kill a bunch of people in the first one, but none of that has happened yet, and I'm like almost halfway through. So as I said, the first half was kind of meandering, and it's difficult to. I'm finding it difficult to find enthusiasm to read it, but now stuff is starting to happen, so hopefully that will change. But yeah, so after finishing Lola, and now this is my beach book, I think I'll start on another audiobook. I think Radiance is next on my list. Yeah, Radiance by, oh my god, Zoe Draven, I think. But yeah, if I remember correctly, that is about, this a fantasy romance about two people who are, I think they're spares in the royal family of both their people, and when they're supposed to be married, it's like a marriage of convenience or something, and the thing is that they start as friends because neither of them finds the other attractive, being from different species and whatnot, and I think they started as friends and then move on to being lovers. We'll see what happens, but yeah, that will be my next one that I'll start on audio. But yeah, that's it so far for this update. I'm not really doing much other than sleeping, eating, reading, and going to the beach. There's no walking around and seeing the sights because there really isn't much to see. I'll show you a clip of me walking to the beach because it's beautiful and everything, but I'm not like going around to historical sites and stuff because vacation is for sleeping and reading and going to the beach. For me, at least. Yeah, well, that's it for this update. I'll talk to you soon. I don't know what day of vacation this is, but I finished this, and I don't know. First of all, not what I expected. We do follow a man called Jimmy Stark. He was sent to hell when he was 19 by his magician friends, and now he's back and he's ready to kill them. It's just that, you know, to get to that point, he just meanders a lot around, and we meet so many players, and it's so filled with things, and it's just so... Anyway, it was a slog to read. I mean, the first 200 pages. After the 200 pages, that's when it starts to get interesting. I mean, our main character is fun. He's definitely an anti-hero. He doesn't do things because it's right or whatever. He's just led by his own rage and crazy emotions, and he has some magic, but he's basically spent his time in hell becoming a warrior because he spent it fighting in the arena with various monsters, so he uses that to basically try and kill the main bad guy. And I mean, it's just everything was so convenient, and everything was just so, like, just the meandering of it. It was like, basically, he just, instead of doing this, he did this. He was like all over the place, and it was just so annoying. I'm like waiting for him to like go do the thing you're supposed to be doing, and whatever. I've read it. I don't even know what to rate this. I am going to read the second one because the ending was intriguing after the whole, I mean, when the world was set and everything, and just, it's interesting, and I want to see what happens next. But yeah, thought this would be like the Dresden Files, but no, this is like a completely different thing. But yeah, read it, and now I'm gonna have to find some other beach book to read. Don't know what that will be, but we'll see. Alright, hi, it's day something of the vacation. I just finished a book. So I started it yesterday. I started Radiance by Grace Draven. This is a book, a fantasy, in which we follow two characters who, both who are spare royals in their respective families, and they're both like different species, and their marriage is sort of set up to bring the two species in some kind of alliance against something that's happening. I don't know. Basically, the thing is with this is that both of them find each other unattractive because of like their whatever, because one of them is human, the other is like, I don't want to say a lizard, but sort of grayscaled and like with claws and shit. It's like not attractive to a human being, whatever. And from their first meeting, they have been very honest with each other. Like, I don't think you're attractive. Like, I think he called her a hag or something in the first meeting, and it was so hilarious. And throughout the book, it's like, oh, like she's so kind, too bad she's ugly. Like, it's hilarious. Anyway, so throughout the book, their relationship sort of they form a friendship, and then from a friendship something more builds, and there's like some B plot of the kingdom they're in, and like people raiding their castle, whatever. It doesn't matters because it sets up the second book, but whatever. Yeah, it was such a fun read. It is a short read also. As I said, I started it yesterday and I finished it today, and it was fun and I enjoyed it a lot. I'm definitely gonna continue reading in the series. There are 2 books out, 3 books in total, so 2 more books out, and the 4th one is coming soon, I think. But yeah, I read that. That would be book 5, I think, of this vacation. I'm talking to the camera.
Sorry, okay, ignorera.
But I am watching the. Do you want to be in the vlog?
No.
All right. And my beach book is not bringing me as much joy. Apparently, I suck at picking books to read on the beach. So I'm reading this. This is called Sama Igre, or in English that would be Just Keep Playing by Ivan Lutz. He's Croatian, so Ivan Lutz. Basically, this is, so it gave me like a Ready Player One vibes, but just because there's like a virtual reality thing that everybody is involved with, and I'm like 50 pages in, and the first 30 was vague sci-fi nonsense that I don't like. And I don't like when my sci-fi is vague. So yeah, basically it's revolving around a basketball game that is being played by robots that are, I think, they are controlled by humans. And we follow several characters, one of them being a sort of power-hungry family, and another being like this old dude who's part of, like, let's say, security in the virtual reality, trying to make sure everything is up to order and nobody's cheating and trying to steal stuff. And then we follow another character who used to be like an engineer in the virtual reality, but he tried to screw the program over, and he got I think shamed for his actions, and now he's living in some slum thing, and there's lots of needles involved, and everyone just, I don't know, it was confusing, and I'm just not really jiving with it right now. So I'm gonna ignore this one for today, because today we are having some kind of crappy weather and it's been raining all morning, but it should be fine for the afternoon when we'll go swimming. But right now I'm just gonna go and start another book, and I'm starting DJ Clune's, I keep forgetting the name, Light Striking Heart something. I'll leave the thingy here. I started this before and I stopped, but I'm gonna give it another try because I think I've read it. I have the audiobook, so I'm gonna try and listen to it on audio to see how far I'll get this time. But basically we follow a kid. I mean, he's 16 I think, or 19. Anyway, he's like a wizard of some sorts, and he's in love with the prince, and the prince is supposed to marry someone else, and then someone kidnaps the prince, and now he has to go, oh no, someone kidnaps the dude the prince is supposed to marry, so he and the prince have to go save the dude, and it's like 400 pages of that. Yeah, so we'll see what happens, but yeah, those are the plans for today. Yeah, talk to you soon, I guess.
We're gonna go swimming soon.
I'm at the beach thinking about swimming. But look at the clouds and the water. These shots are getting weirder and weirder. Anyway, I'm on 40 something% of the lightning struck heart, or whatever the book's name is. I don't know. And I was wrong. It's the apprentice wizard who is in love with the knight, and the knight is engaged to a prince, and then the prince gets taken by a dragon, and then the two of them with a unicorn and a half giant go and try to save the prince from the dragon. And it's so it's so ridiculous, and it's hilarious, and it's just so much fun, and I'm enjoying it a lot. Yeah, so I'm gonna continue reading that now. I'm slowly but not at all reading the beach book, and yeah, that's it for now. Also, I wanted to say that while reading Radiance, the two main characters, whose name, of course, I don't remember anymore, even though I read the book previously, like today, they gave me some Elizabeth Mr. Darcy vibes from Pride and Prejudice at the beginning. While they were talking and like deciding to be honest and everything, so that was cool. I kept thinking about it during the day, like, oh my god, they were kind of Elizabeth and Darcy, but yeah. That's it. So, talk to you later. Alright, it's the next day. I finished Lightning Struck Heart by TJ Klune, and it is the most ridiculous adventure fantasy romance thing that I've ever read, and the audiobook is just fucking fantastic, and it was so much fun. And yeah, I had a great time reading it, and I'm looking forward to getting to the sequel. I mean, it was so ridiculous. It had so many cool tropes, and you know, wizards and forced confessions, and the romance between the two characters was great. I mean, I was laughing out loud at points, which is unusual for me because I don't really react that way at anything, and it was just great. So, book 6 finished. Okay, so looks great. Looks great. There's the sun, and then there's the clouds. Dark clouds, filled with rain, which we are ignoring to go swimming. Yes, my sister says yes, but very quietly. Hi, we are at Fortress Nehai, that's how you say it in English, Tvrđava Nehai, where Croatian people in the past, in the 15th, 16th century, used it to save themselves from the Turks and Venetians, right? Those are the Italians of the time. And you'll see clips of what's inside, and now we are at the top floor where it's, how do you say Vidikovac? Sight point? Yeah, I don't remember what it said on the paper. Just to show that I actually do something on my holiday other than just read and swim. You know, because that's all I did so far. But yeah. Okay. Here you can see Seine, some part of Seine, and that up there is Velebit, the mountain here in Croatia. There's more of it, but you know, there's stuff in the way. Like this. See? But whatever, we'll go with it. So, hi, this is day 12. Yes, this is day 12 of my vacation, and I want to tell you about book 7, book 8, and book 9 I'm going to finish today that I've read in the last couple of days since I last talked to you. So I finished my second beach read, which is Even Lots Samo igraju or Just Keep Playing. Basically in this book we follow several characters, and the whole world is basically the time when this story takes place is New Year's Eve of 2999, and everybody's sort of congregating in Boston to watch like a finale of a basketball match. Now, basketball is being played by robots, and robots are being controlled by humans. And everyone most of the population in this story is hooked up to the net. And the net controls everything. And it first started with just like the Oasis in Ready Player One, but then grew to something more. And now everything is controlled through the net. If you unplug from the net for more than 60 seconds, you lose privileges. Like you can't see a doctor, you can't have a lawyer or whatever. There are certain privileges. So the goal for you is to be part of the net. And people have implants in their bodies, nanobots, anything that helps them sort of function, that cures all disease and everything. Of course, if you don't have money, you either are not part of the net, which is bad for you because you don't have access to sort of commodities of society. And also, what was I going to say? There are people, since you are in the net all the time, you are receiving information all the time. So if you lose access, you sort of deteriorate, and you basically you just go crazy, and basically you go around stumbling like a zombie until you die, right? So our story follows several characters, but the main point of this story is that someone, because of this big basketball game, there is betting, and someone is trying to mess with the net to, I guess, make more money. And the virus that they create to mess with the net sort of mutates and goes from the net to humans because everyone's connected to the net, and that sort of sets off the reset of human race. And the concept of this is so good. It's so interesting, and I enjoyed the sort of technological parts of it, like the the explanations of the net and the implants and how people benefit from it. But what ruined this book for me is, Lord, fucking, there isn't a likable character here at all. As we follow several characters, so our main sort of hero is not a hero at all. He's like a coward. He is a coward who just wants to survive, and basically views, especially women, views them as either fuckable or not. And when he's being saved from like a gang, he's being saved by a woman, and he's like just describing her like, oh, she has nice hair and curves and whatnot. Like, it's like, it was so fucking annoying because all the women care. There isn't and I don't want to say normal female character, but there isn't like a female character here that is not so as I said, there isn't a female character that is not I don't want to say her own, like, the only female character that we follow is basically her job is to work for the dude who controls one of the basketball playing robots, right? And it's just immediately when you see her, she's like, oh, I'm so in love with him, he's so, like, there's like this, just, I don't know, just the female characters are not well depicted, and just like there could be so much more. And again, as I said previously, when I read Fire in His Blood by Ruby Dixon, like, when you make a world where women, their worth is basically whether they're fuckable or not, it's not something that I want to read. So that was definitely something that it's just a huge, I didn't even rate this book on Goodreads because I didn't know what to rate it because I liked it. Also, the beginning was very slow and it was very vague, and I didn't like vague sci-fi. I like things need to be spelled out for me, which is, I guess, I don't know what that says about me, but like, they were very vague at the beginning, and I had no idea what was happening until I survived the first 100 pages, and then action started. But yeah, what else I didn't like about this book? There was lots of in Croatian we say filozofiranje. In English that would be it wouldn't be bullshitting, but people expressing their thoughts a lot about the connection between humans and technology. I mean, there were some good points and everything, and definitely parallels that can be connected to today's relationship between people and technology and social media and everything. But it was just so much of it, and just people preaching about how things should be, and then it was, I mean, I like the cover. The cover is awesome, pretty cool, but the thing in it, it's like, this is definitely going to the unwhole pile because I'm not going to read this again, and just, no. So another book that I read is actually, I listened to an audiobook by Stacey Reid called My Darling Duke. This is a historical romance in which we follow Catherine Danvers, and she is she has several sisters and her mother, and they're sort of reaching the point of poverty because her father died and left them with no money, and since she's the oldest, she's supposed to like take care of the family and whatnot. So she decides to pretend to be engaged to this dude, Alexander, the Duke, who was like the big thing 10 years ago when the season in London happened. And she pretends to be engaged to him so that her sisters would have a better opportunity to get married, because people would consider them to be of higher status because she's engaged to this dude, and this dude has disappeared from society because of something that's happened. So there was an accident and he's disfigured, so there's like a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but it's not. And it's also mentioned in the book a lot, which is fun. So yeah, so he finds out that, there's this woman pretending to be engaged to him. So he goes to London to meet her, and they meet, and then, stuff happens. I enjoyed it a lot. The audiobook, I think I would have given it a bigger rating if it wasn't for the audiobook, because the narrator was very breathy. It was like, chapter 16. It was like, whatever. Also, there was a moment where I clutched. If I had pearls, I would have clutched them, because, I mean, I've read a lot of what do you call them, hardcore stuff when it comes to romance and smut and everything in the last couple of months, definitely. But there was a point in this book where when Alexander tells Catherine to basically take off her clothes and sit on his face, I was like, holy shit. Because, historical romances are supposed to be kind of tamer than the other stuff. But yeah, it was fun. I liked the way their relationship developed. There are some very cool tropes if you're into it. So sharing a bed because, there's nowhere to sleep, I guess, because they were caught in the rain and almost drowned. So they had to stay in a cabin for some time. I liked, what did I like? I liked that our main character, that Catherine, wasn't like very, I don't want to say sensitive, because she knows what she has to do. She's very practical, and I just remember every time she said, I'm not silly, I'm 23 years old. I'm like, when I was 23 years old, I wasn't as practical as she was, and that was a fun read. And also every time she said Alexander, I always thought of Alexander Hamilton. So if you watch the play, the Broadway musical, there's lots of people saying Alexander all the time. So anytime she would say Alexander, I would think of that, and that made me laugh. But yeah, it was a very cool historical romance, and I enjoyed it a lot. Right, and I just want to talk about, I guess, book 9, which I'm going to finish today. I have like 15 minutes left on my Kindle. So this is a novella called Convenience Store Woman, and it's written by a Japanese author called Sayaka Murata. I probably mispronounced that, I'm sorry. So basically in this novella we follow Keiko, and she works in a convenience store, and she's worked there since she started college, and now she's 36, and she is basically always been odd, and she's trying to figure out how not to be odd and to sort of fit in society, pretending to be like all the other people. So she goes through life mimicking people around her, so her family, her co-workers, mimicking their voice, their mannerisms, how to smile or whatever. That's why she loved working in a convenience store, because there was a training video that told them how to smile and greet the customers and how they should act all the time. And she loved it because she felt like she needed a manual to life, because ever since she was young there were some incidents that made her different than the others. And I'm enjoying it so far. This is a book that I'm reading for our book club. We were supposed to have a meeting the day after I get back home from vacation, and it's for the Read Harder challenge. I don't know, I have to check what prompt it is, and I'll write it down here. But yeah, it was very easy reading. I'm enjoying it much more than I thought I would, because I thought this would be very boring, and because it's a slice of life sort of book, and I don't usually enjoy slice of life books, but it's interesting, and I'm enjoying the sort of, it's not a mystery, but it's definitely trying to figure out what our main character, what her deal is. But is she a sociopath? Is she like on the spectrum, or like what her deal is? Because there are some instances of, that leads to both of those points. There's also a very good commentary on how society views those who are different, who don't follow the rules, who don't sort of follow the normal path in life. Like, she's 36, she's still working a part-time job, she's not married, and she meets someone in the convenience store who is in a similar position, and how the two of them are sort of going through life and trying to figure out how to deal with that. It's very interesting. As I said, I have like 15 minutes left of reading and I'll be done. So I'm counting that as book 9 read in this vacation. I do have one day left. So today's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday, and we are leaving on Saturday. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to start a new book or not. I took 2 more books for like my beach read, but since the 2 that I've read weren't really rousing successes, I'm not sure if I'm going to pick those, even though one of them is by Luke Arnold and I like him, so we'll see. But yeah, this is it so far. So books 7, 8, and 9. I say this vacation was very good for my reading. I'm also not reading anything for Draconathon, which sucks. I have to, when I get home, I'm gonna have to focus on those books, because I think I made a mistake of not bringing at least one of the Dragon books here with me to read. But yeah, I'll talk to you when I have something more to add. Hi, I'm back from vacation. I took a day and a half because it's Sunday afternoon right now, to sort of decompress and just relax and get myself together. And I'm just gonna, I don't know, finish out this vlog. So I spent 2 weeks on vacation. I read 9 things while I was on vacation, which is great for me because I don't think I've ever read so many books in on vacation. So yay! I was trying for number 10, but I started listening to Daniel Green's Breach of Peace, but I started on Friday, but then I just I had lots of things to do, so to pack to go home and everything, so I just didn't finish it. So it stays on 9 books. But other than that, I had a really fun time on my vacation. I watched a lot of Rick and Morty, and I just and other stuff. And I really had a great time. And yeah, so that's it for my vacation vlog. Please do check out the links that are in the description box. Check out some other videos you can see on our channel. You can subscribe. Press the bell button if you want to get notifications. Talk to us in the comments. You can comment down below to tell me how many books you've read on your vacation. Have you been on your summer vacation yet, or haven't you? If you have some thoughts on the books that I've read. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching this, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.